Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope that you guys have been enjoying the WWE 2K18 videos I've been putting out today. In the last two videos, we talked about Be Like No One, which was the My Player Base experience in WWE 2K18. And we also talked about Realism, which is the most realistic WWE game ever, you know, WWE 2K18. That's what they're aiming for here. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the most comprehensive WWE game to date. So we're talking about fleshing the game out. We're going to be talking about the roster. We're going to be talking about Backstage Brawling, Universe Mode, gameplay, things like that. So if you guys missed those last two videos, all you have to do is click the cards of this video, open that up. You can go to either of those videos and check those out. There was some cool information about your My Player in 2K18, and then of course talking about the new commentary team in the realism part. There's some good information I think you guys will enjoy, so be sure to check that out. And remember, leave a thumbs up on the videos if you guys have been enjoying them. Now let's go ahead and jump into the most comprehensive WWE experience ever. So the first thing we talked about, of course, is the roster. You know, when we were talking about earlier, when we talked about the community feedback project, one of the biggest things that is always in the feedback project is the roster. So many people care about the roster. So that was the thing we talked about first. We didn't get too deep into it. We didn't really confirm any characters other than, you know, Seth Rollins being in the game and Randy Orton is in the game. So those are kind of like the only people that we got absolutely confirmed while we were there, because we saw screenshots and videos of them. But they said that this is the biggest roster by far ever. And the key words there are by far. So that means it's going to be a good amount more than the last game. So 2K17 is going to be by far more. Whatever that means, by far. They said that there is going to be an August reveal for the roster. So you guys know pretty much, you know, around SummerSlam probably is when we're looking at it. So that's pretty much how it's been. You know, that's pretty much the go-to is SummerSlam for this sort of thing. So August is going to be the roster reveal for 2K18, so be on the lookout for that. Now, the next thing that we talked about after the by far biggest roster was Backstage Brawling. You guys know that they added that in the WWE 2K17, and you know, I thought it was pretty cool, but there are a lot of limitations, and you know, a lot of stuff just half the time, you know, like with managers and stuff, it just flat out didn't work. Which I also told them that too. I said, you know, in my career, you got a manager or something, you're not going backstage ever. It's not working. You could maybe look into that. But they said that this year, Backstage Brawling will have new areas and interactive objects. It's going to be expanded, baby. They said, this is the number they gave me. They said 3 times larger than last year's Backstage Brawling area. 3 times! It's a big number. So it's like if you take the Backstage Brawling area from last year and then you stacked 3 of them beside each other. 1, 2, 3. That's how big the Backstage Brawling area is this year. They said there's going to be new areas, new interactive objects. Some of the new areas are a loading dock and a garage. Those are the 2 they gave us. I don't know if that's all of them, but those are 2 that are going to be added onto the backstage area. So no longer you constricted to a hallway. You can now go into a loading dock. You can go into a garage. And it's 3 times larger, and there's more interactable objects. So I was like, ooh, baby. So maybe Backstage Brawls will actually be worth it this time, because I almost felt like they weren't worth it last year just because you were so limited in what you can do. I like the fact that it was there, but I didn't like how limited you were and everything, and I thought that was just like, oh man, you got to be able to do something else with this, you know what I'm saying? And they're adding that this year. They're gonna expand on the Backstage Brawling area. We're gonna get back to bigger areas like back in the day, you know, on the older SmackDown games where you could, you know, go different places and things like that. And a lot of people liked it. I loved it. I love being able to go in the back, and you know, I don't know if we're gonna be able to jump off 18-wheelers or anything. I don't know if that's a reality that we're living in right now. But the fact that we can even go to a loading dock in a garage, I'm just happy that's back in the game. You know, I hope it is here to stay. Please, for the love of God, let it be here to stay. Now, that's cool information. And they went next to the WWE Universe mode. They talked about WWE Universe with an expanded story system. They said they rewrote the whole thing. They said they rewrote Universe mode entirely. They said that no longer are you constricted to just 4 weeks and 1 pay-per-view like every other game. They called that the 4-in-1 system. You guys know what I'm talking about in the Universe mode, where you have 4 weeks and then you have 1 pay-per-view. Since we have brand split support in this year's game, that's right, brand split support. They didn't go any further than that, but they said there is brand split support. They said that you are no longer constricted to just 4 weeks and 1 pay-per-view. So they said there are some limitations. You can't have like a pay-per-view every single day because you have to let the system kind of write the stories out. But it's no longer constricted to just that, and they'll get more into that later. They also said that stories within Universe mode happen in this game because something happens, not just because it needs to happen. They said altercations lead to more altercations, which lead to a feud, not just because the game needs a story to start. So there will be stories that happen just based off of altercations in universe mode. That's great. Universe mode needs more stories. It needs stuff like that. Universe mode needs more meat on the bone. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I was happy to hear that stories will happen because something actually happened. Altercations leading to altercations leading to a feud. You know, it's stacking stuff on top. It's actual storytelling. I'm hoping it's as fleshed out as it sounds to me. They didn't go any deeper than that. But I'm hoping, like in my mind, you know, my optimistic mind, I'm thinking that that's going to be pretty cool. Of course, they also said brand split support. And they also, some key information here, said there's no draft. There is no draft, but you can still edit rosters how you want. A lot of people were asking about the, you know, how it would work with the brand split and everything. They said there's no draft because basically they didn't do, you know, they did like a superstar shakeup or whatever. They said you can just do that yourself if you want to, which I was a little disappointed at. Honestly, I was kind of looking forward to something like that, but it is what it is, I guess. You can still edit the rosters how you want. So I guess I'll just put a bunch of people's names in a hat and pull them out. I'll do it old school, baby. But anyways, moving on from universe mode, we had the gameplay. They got some gameplay additions. So they have a new carry and drag system. So no longer are superstars just holding another superstar's neck and dragging. You know what I mean? How they drag them, you know, when you're holding them, you're trying to position them against the ropes or something. You drag them by their neck, or you drag them by their feet and their hand, and you just drag them on the floor. You can do other stuff now. So the new carry and drag system, you can pick people up on your shoulder and place them on interactable objects. You can do move variations. So example is getting them up into a powerbomb position and then doing something else with them, like laying them down on an object or something. The carry and drag system is completely different than the other games. So I was really happy to hear that because, you know, holding your neck and stuff, like, even though it's not like an issue that I had like a huge problem with or anything, you know, it's good to hear that they're actually trying to make progression in the gameplay itself, you know. They also said there's a new position feeding system. So instead of just selling on the ground, sometimes your character or the CPU might pull himself into the corner or lean on the second rope. You know what I mean? So if your character is selling on the floor after a move, sometimes he'll try to, if he's closer to the turnbuckle, he'll like crawl over to the turnbuckle and just sit in the corner for a minute. Or if he's close to the ropes, he'll try to get himself up and crawl up to the second rope, and he'll lean on the second rope, which I thought was really cool. So just some stuff like that to kind of add to the immersion of the gameplay, which I thought was really cool. So here's the thing. We talked about online mode because I said before that online feels like it's kind of left out most of the time. When we're talking about the 2K games, online is definitely something that's left out. They said that Backstage Online is really, really hard for them, and don't hold your breath for Backstage Online stuff, just because there's a lot of moving objects on Backstage, and trying to get that right with server problems and stuff like that, it's just hard for them in general. Also, they said they improved the community creation search because it was busted in WWE 2K17. It was just completely busted. There's not a better word for it, to be completely honest. It was just absolutely busted. Like, you'd search for something and you would get nothing even close. You would get Peter Griffin created characters when you're looking for Aleister Black. It didn't make any sense at all. They said that they improved this a ton. They're trying to make it more like a Google search for created people. So they really want this to be like an actual feature that you can do and use, and it's intuitive and it actually works, and you can find the people that you're looking for, and once you look for those people, it'll have like other characters that they think that you might be interested in based on the searches that you've done there and in the past. I'm like, okay, you got me, baby. Just don't make it as bad as 2K17's, you know, with the horrible, I mean, I swear to God, I'm looking for regular people and I find Darth Vader half the time. I don't even know how that happens. I don't even know how we get to that point. Doesn't make any sense at all. And I also decided to ask, while they were talking about online, I thought I'd just take it upon myself. I asked about dedicated servers. I said, are you guys looking into dedicated servers? And they said, yes, that is something we would love to do, but it absolutely is not going to be ready for WWE 2K18. But they said, watch out in the future. So I was like, okay, oh, okay. I mean, watch out for the future is better than no, don't you ever mention it again. You know, I'm not going to hold my breath about dedicated servers whatsoever. But I was happy to hear that it's something that's being looked into. So that was the most comprehensive WWE game to date. I hope that you guys enjoyed that information. Remember, if you did, to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are not subscribed for more of that goodie. And on the next video, we're going to talk about multi-man, multi-woman mayhem. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. See you.